Darshini, can you start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
A very good evening to the distinguished guest, respected faculty, dear colleagues, and aspiring medical minds. I'm Darshini on behalf of Indian Medical Association, Tamil Nadu State Branch, and I'm sorry, am I audible?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah,
am I
Darshini.
audible?
Now
Yes,
you
I'm
are audible.
sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
It gives me immense pride to introduce not only an eminent academic but also my respected professor, Dr. K. N. Ponniyin Selvan, Assistant Professor, Department of Community Medicine, Government Dharmapuri Medical College. His expertise in community medicine and the dedication to mentoring students make him an invaluable guide in helping us understand not only the subtleties of proposal writing but also the tools that can sharpen our research journey. His insights will surely serve as a compass for every aspiring researcher here. Without further ado, please join me in giving a warm and gracious welcome to Dr. K.N. Ponniyin Selvan, sir. Sir, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, Darshini, for such a warm welcome. And let me share my screen first. Is the screen visible, doctor?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Fine, thanks. Good evening, all. Good evening, all, my dear students and my faculties, my colleagues, and my HOD is also here. Uh, Good evening, all. Let me start my topic straight away. I'm glad to be here as a part of AARAICHI. Doctor, is the screen visible? Is the slides changing?
Sir, can you present the slides, sir? Then only it can be visible, I guess.
Yeah, I'm presenting it. Are the slides changing now?
No, sir. Sir, could you please off the screen sharing and try it once again, sir? So it will appear.
Yeah, sure. Is it okay now?
It's great, sir.
Okay, thanks. Let me start with the question to this forum. You can even answer by unmuting yourself, or you can even post it in the chat box.
Sure,
What
sir.
is
Sure.
research? Any idea? I like to take it in a two-way manner. Can someone please respond in the chat box? What is research?
To investigate something.
To investigate something. Yes. Fine. Any other responses? Someone has responded as collection and analysis of data. Yes, good.
Giving some
Aditya,
new insights to existing phenomena, sir.
Okay, new insights into an existing phenomena. Okay, let's see. Research, as you said, it is about getting new insights, collecting and analyzing of data. All these are right. So put it in a proper term. Research is a systematic process of inquiry aimed at gaining new knowledge or validating existing information or finding problems, solving specific problems. Being an Indian medical graduate who requires to be a lifelong learner, research is a compelling field. In simple terms, research is all about asking right questions and finding answers in a systematic and a methodical way. How many of you thought that hearing the word research, it is all about doing things in a closed lab setup with in a posh environment with glasses and all the PPEs on? Research is not only that is being done within this in a lab setup. It is something more than that. Research can be anything that shows light on any area of uncertainty. As I said earlier, it is all about asking questions and finding answers. Rudyard Kipling, he said, I keep 6 harness serving men. They taught me all I know. Their names are what and why and when and how, where and who. Exactly, all these are going to be the framework for a research questioning. So as I said, it is asking right questions and working to find answers in a systematic and methodical way. So research can be a new thing that creates or establishes new concept or a material. It can either support an existing belief or it can even oppose an existing belief or it can find answer. In fact, it can lead to a question too. So research can be in any of these forms. Whatever we are believing it as a fact now was once a hypothesis, and all are the product of the research of past years. So with this short intro about research, let's go to our topic today, research protocol. And I am Dr. Ponniyin Selvan, Assistant Professor, Department of Community Medicine, Government Dharmapuri Medical College, Dharmapuri. So where do we start a research from? As the slide shows, it's a question mark. Exactly, we start it from a question. So it is called research question. Where do we get a research question from? We can get it anywhere, from previous literatures, from our doubts, from the references, whatever we surf into. Hope you have been taken a session on review of literature, where you have been taken through these platforms, PubMed, Cochrane Library, Medline Library, and directory of journals. All these are sources of previous literatures and published literatures where you can find new arena and that can be developed as a research. Hope you have been, I believe that you have been taken a session on review of literature. So I'm not going to dwell deep into these things now. So we'll stick on to the first point of origin of a research question. Where do we get a research question from? Can I have any responses from you? Where can we get research questions from?
It can be somebody's own curiosity, or it can be some article reading or something.
Exactly. It can be from anywhere. It can be from within ourselves. It can be our doubts. or or it can be from the literatures that has been published earlier. So we have to surf into all the available resources, not to find an answer, but to find a question, which is going to be the starting point of our research. Which have been covered to you by earlier sessions. So, coming on to the research cycle, the research cycle starts with identifying the data needs, spelling out research question, and formulating a research hypothesis, formulating study objectives, and planning the analysis, followed by preparing data collection instruments. So this is how the cycle starts. And the second of the cycle goes by, after collection of the data, analyzing it and drawing conclusions, and formulating recommendations and informing stakeholders. So the cycle continues. Research is a continuous vicious cycle. So once the data needs is being identified, we can go ahead with research question and research hypothesis, and subsequently objectives and analysis. So my session is predominantly about the first half of this cycle. So identifying data needs and research question, research hypothesis. It is all about reviewing literatures, reviewing those published, previous published literatures, and finding the area of lacunae or knowledge gaps, which can be turned out into a research question. As I said, this session is all about the first part of the research cycle, which is preparatory steps in research. To start with, as I said earlier, every research starts from a research question, from which a research topic can be derived, followed by objectives, and second step is formulating a concept paper, and third step is preparing an analysis overview, and step 4 is about drafting a protocol, and step 5 is preparing annexes like data collection tools, and step 6 is peer review, and step 7 is ethics committee review. So these are the 7 steps. These are the 7 steps uh, before implementing data collection. Hence it is named as preparatory steps in research. So my session is perfectly aligned, and it is going to be talking only about the draft, how to draft a protocol. So is it okay now?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Yeah. My session is all about. It is going to be talking about the step 4 alone, drafting a protocol. So what is a protocol? Protocol is going to be the blueprint of your research. What are you going to do? How are you going to do? And how are you planning each steps? So protocol is just like a blueprint for a house. It is going to tell all about your study, but it's going to give you an overview and blueprint about your study, just like as a blueprint for a house. So these are the questions that your protocol is going to answer: what, where, who, when, how. As Rudyard Kipling stated, 6 servants. All those servants are questions, are forms of questions, and your research protocol should answer all these questions. Coming on to the elements of a research protocol, what means the study title, what your research is going to be about. So the answer for what the question what is going to be your study title, and why, that is going to be your objectives. Why are you going to do that study? What are you going to find out with that study? It is going to be your objectives. And the third question is how. The answer for that question, how, is going to be your design methodology. In what way, in what manner, by what methods you are going to implement that study. And the fourth question to be answered is when. It is about study duration. What is the duration? What is the period of study you're going to do? Whether it is prospective, or whether it is retrospective, or whether it is ambidextrous. where, the study setting. The question that has to be answered with the question where is study setting. Whether you are going to do it in an institutional setup, or whether you are going to do in a community setup, where are you going to do this study? So the question where reflects study setting. And who, the last and most important question, is the study population. Among whom you are going to do the study. What is the study population to which you are going to do your research? So basically, a research protocol should be answering all these questions: what, why, how, when, where, and who. Can I have a response from you people? Which should be the one that deciding that is going to decide answers for all these 6 questions? Can I have any response from you people? What is going to be the deciding factor for answering all these questions? Any guess? Someone replied as objectives. Yeah, someone else too responded as objective. Any other responses can I get? Okay,
Title,
it
sir.
is. Sorry,
Title.
sorry, I couldn't hear you better. Can you please repeat it again?
Title, sir.
Type.
Title. Topic.
Title. Right, title. Okay, okay, fine. That's going to be again your research question. Your research question is the one that is going to decide how are you going to answer all these 6 questions. It is research question again. So the ultimate starting point is going to be your identifying the data needs and how are you going to spell out your research question. So all your study, how to answer all these 6 questions. The research question is going to decide your title, your objective, your methodology, your study duration, your study setting, and the study population. That is why I'm reinforcing again and again, you're identifying a research question. It is not finding answer, but finding the question that matters in research. So anyway, we'll proceed on to the protocol steps. So a research question, I will also take you through some parts of research question, how it should be. As I came to know that you people haven't been taken on a session about research methodology. Without taking a session on research methodology, going on for protocol writing or proposal framing is quite a tougher task. It is like surpassing things. So I would like to take you to some part of research methodology and then take you towards protocol writing. So let me take some time for research methodology. So research question should be in certain format. It should include PICO, PICO format. We say it as PICO format. P means patient or the population or the problem that has to be studied. I means intervention or the prognostic factor or exposure that has to be studied in your question. Comparison. C means comparison, whether you are comparing it with any other groups or not. And O is outcome. And we also have a last term T, Picot. T, it is time. What is the duration of study? What is the period of study? So every research question should address all these components: patient, intervention, comparison, and outcome. Picot format. And it also should be in a finer pattern. We call it as feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. All your research questions should be adequate in number of subject. It should have a technical expertise to be implemented. It should be affordable in terms of resources. It should be interesting in such a way that finding answer for that particular question attracts the investigator or the community interest. It should N means novel. It should either confirm, refute, or extend previous findings. It should be ethical too. It should be ethically. Hey, guess you had one other session on ethics within research. So every research question should abide by your ethical norms as laid by the institutional review boards, and it should also be relevant to the current scenario. It should also be relevant to the scientific knowledge which is being prevalent currently. So any research question should satisfy these 2 criteria. One is PICOT, PACOT, and the other is finer criteria. So there are 2 types of study designs, descriptive and analytical. So questions for descriptive and analytical, it is about a small difference. Whenever you compare things, it becomes an analytical question. Whenever there is no comparison group, it is only observes things, only describing things, it becomes a descriptive study. So depending upon your research question, whether it is of descriptive type or whether it is of analytical type, it determines which study design to be opted for. So let me take you to a few examples. What is the extent of walking practiced by diabetics regularly? If this is my research question, what kind of a research question is that? Whether it is describing or whether it is involving any comparison group? Can come on, sum up with answers, please. What is the extent of walking practiced by diabetics regularly? This is a question on which I am going to work on. As I said, research questions can be of two types. It can be descriptive or analytical. I have given you two questions here. The first one is
Can be descriptive, sir.
yes.
I
Yes.
yeah, descriptive.
What is the extent of walking practiced by diabetics regularly is a kind of descriptive question where it doesn't employ any comparative groups. Whereas coming on to the second one, in order to improve management of type 2 diabetes, we wish to know whether brisk walking by diabetics for at least 1 hour daily reduces fasting blood sugar as compared to those who do not. Obviously, I'm comparing here two groups. One group is having brisk walking. The other group is the group that is not having any kind of exercise. I am comparing the reduction in fasting blood sugar level, whether it can be attributed to the walking practice or not. So ultimately, we are comparing two groups here. Then it becomes an analytical question. So depending upon the availability of comparative group, my question can be either descriptive or analytical. If my research question is of descriptive kind, then obviously I have to proceed forward with descriptive study designs. If my question is of analytical kind, then my research question will take me towards choosing study designs of analytical kind. So as I said at the start, it is the research study, it is the research question that is going to decide answer for all those 6 questions. So let me take you to a few other examples of research question fitting into Pickard format. Among prehypertensive adults, whether brisk walking reduces blood pressure. This is the starting point of my research, where I am trying to frame it in such a way that this research question addresses the Pickard format. Here, I have reframed that question in such a way that in adults aged 30 to 50 years with prehypertension, does daily 30-minute brisk walking compared to no structured exercise result in a reduction in systolic blood pressure over 6 months? Here I have highlighted the areas as P, I, C, O, and T. Here the P, person describes it is 30 to 50 years aged adults with prehypertension. That is going to be my study population. And what is the intervention I am giving here? It is about 30 minutes brisk walking. That is going to be the interventional part. Am I comparing it with any other group? Yes, I'm comparing with the group with no structured exercise. What is the outcome of this research question? It is going to be the reduction in systolic blood pressure. Do I have any timeline here? Yes, for 6 months. So I have addressed all the components here. So this is how a research question should be. It should be addressing all the 4 components: person or population, intervention, comparison, or outcome. Obviously, in analytical kind of questions, there will be comparison group. In descriptive kind of questions, there will not be any comparison groups. This is one other example. Among school children, whether practice of hand washing reduces diarrheal episodes, where I have given the same thing in PICO format. So the person here is school children aged 8 to 12, and the intervention here is hand washing before meals, and the comparison group is the group that is not practicing the hand washing, and the outcome is diarrheal episodes, and the time frame is 3 months. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So a research question, it should be elaborate enough in such a way that a clear research question will give you answers for all those questions, all those 6 questions. What are you going to do? How are you going to do? Where are you going to do? When are you going to do? All these questions will be answered clearly if the research question follows a Pickard format. So let's proceed from research question to a study title. study title is nothing but the statement version of the research question. What are you going to study? If it is in a questionable format, it is a research question. If you start it in a statement format, that becomes a title. As simple as that. Preferably in Picard format, as I depicted earlier. And your study title should be clear, crisp, and it should not be misleading. As I said earlier, if it follows Picard format, it will be clear, crisp, and it will not be misleading at all. It will let the audience know whom are you going to study, what are you going to study, whether do you have any comparison group, and what is your study outcome, and what is your duration. All these things will be displayed in your study title. So right at the point of looking at your study title, the audience and the readers will know what are you going to convey with that your within your research. So nowadays, journals are looking for innovative and catchy titles, though. The traditional way of representing a study title is that it follows a Picard format. But nowadays, many journals are looking for innovative and catchy titles where you can skip the Picard format, but at the same time, it should be expressing the most part of your study research. So let me take you through a few examples how a research question is being framed into a research title. We will stick on to those two examples. One is whether there is any change with brisk walking among pre-hypertension patients, and the other whether hand washing before meals reduces diarrheal episodes. Let's stick on to these two scenarios. We have framed a research question in Packard format for these two scenarios. Let's try to frame research title out of these research questions. So coming on to the first scenario, where my research question is about in adults aged 30 to 50 years pre-hypertension, does daily 30-minute brisk walking compared to no structured exercise group result in a reduction of systolic blood pressure over 6 months? So this is in a question format. When it is being given it as a statement, effect of daily brisk walking versus unstructured exercise on blood pressure among adults with pre-hypertension over 6 months. This is as simple as that. As I said, both the research question and the title are conveying you the same things, but when it is in a question format, that is a research question, but when it is in a statement format, it becomes a research title. Similarly, for the second example, among school children aged 8 to 12, does hand washing with soap before meals compared to no hand washing practice reduce the incidence of diarrheal episodes over a 3-month period? And the title goes by effect of hand washing with soap versus no hand washing practice on diarrheal episodes among school children aged 8 to 12 over 3 months. All the PICOT, all the components have been addressed in the title too. So this is just an example. You can customize the research titles as per your research question, provided it addresses the components of PICOT. So we are skipping on to the next step. So we have started with the research question. Where to find research question? We can find it from ourselves. Our doubts can be a research question, or it can be arising out of previous literatures. What are the things that has to be addressed by research question? It has to address PICOT: population, intervention, comparison, outcome, and time. From research question, we can state a research title in the similar pattern. So your objectives are nothing but literally an answer for your research question. What are you going to find out, and how are you going to find out? What is the probable answer for your research question? That has to be framed as an objective. While framing objective, the thing that has to be noted is the choice of verb you use. I'll explain that while taking you to the examples. Your objectives can be primary or secondary. Most studies will have primary and secondary objectives. Although it is not mandated to have secondary objectives. Primary objective is nothing but the sole purpose of your research study. What is the prime cause, and what are your what is going to be your prime finding in your research? That is going to be your primary objective. All the additional informations, all the additional data that are information that your research can provide can be enlisted as secondary objectives. And all your objectives should follow a criteria called SMART. Most of you would know it, I guess. Specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time bound. So every objective should follow the SMART criteria. So effect of daily brisk walking versus unstructured exercise on blood pressure in adults with pre-hypertension over 6 months. This is what the scenario have been developing from research question. Now this title needs an objective. I just have given objective in my perspective. Objective can be customized in such a way that what is going to be your prime focus. Depending upon your prime focus, you can make it primary, and the others can be listed as secondary. Just for example, I have given you here two objectives. The first one is to evaluate the effect of 30 minutes of daily brisk walking on systolic blood pressure among adults with pre-hypertension over 6 months. And my secondary objective is to compare the blood pressure reduction between the groups. So I have given you two objectives here. I have highlighted the verb, choice of verb I have used here. Evaluate, compare. As this is an example for an analytical study, I have used words like terms like evaluate, compare. If this is if this research question is planned as a descriptive question, I should have used a different choice of verbs. Whether it can be assess, it can be estimate, where I can estimate the prevalence of brisk walking behavior among pre-hypertension patients. I can assess the exercise pattern among adults with pre-hypertension. Wherever I have no comparison groups, I'm just going to describe the pattern of walking among pre-hypertension patients. I can use terms like estimate, assess. But when it comes to analytical, I'm using terms like evaluate, compare, determine. This can be used here. So the next example goes in the same way. Effect of hand washing with soap versus no hand washing practice on the diarrheal episodes among school children over 3 months. This is the title, and my objective would be to measure the baseline incidence of diarrheal episodes among school children and to compare the diarrheal incidence between the intervention and control group. So my primary objective I framed in such a way that I have to measure the incidence of diarrheal episodes among school children, and my secondary objective is to compare it with whether the intervention has benefited the group or not. Even this can be placed as my primary objective. It is up to the choice of the investigator. It is up to the prime focus of your research question. Which question has to be answered first? All the prime focus or the question that has to be answered first has to be your primary objective. Is that clear? Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So till now we have completed something about research question, how to frame a research title from a research question, and how to frame objectives for your research title. So this is going to be the first half of your research protocol, after which the main part comes, the methodology. To answer the question how are you going to do your research? The answer for that question how is going to be your methodology. Of course, within the methodology, the first thing that has to be answered is study design. As you all know, the study designs are broadly classified as observational and experimental within observational, descriptive, and analytical studies. And this picture is all about showing the hierarchy of evidence of study designs, where case series and expert opinion are the primitive forms, and the other subsequent studies are cross-sectional, case control, cohort, and trials. As I said at the start, it is a research question that is going to choose your design. If your research question is of descriptive kind, it will go with the descriptive kind of study designs. If your research study wants a research question warrants a comparative group, it goes as analytical studies. If your research question warrants a trial kind of study, it goes with either RCT or other kind of trial studies. So it is all about your research question. I am not going to take deep things about each study designs, as it is as since it is out of my session. The next thing in the methodology is study setting. As I said earlier, why are you going to do this study? Whether it is a community based study or whether it is an institutional based study. If it is an institutional based study, whether it is a primary care setup or a tertiary care setup or whatever it is, you have to specify where you are going to do this study. And the third thing to be answered, third thing that has to be covered in the methodology is study duration. Whether you are doing it prospectively or retrospectively or ambidextrospectively. What is the specified study duration within which you are going to complete your research proposal? And the next thing is study population. The population to which you want to infer your study finding is the target population. The population which is accessible to you is the study population. And the population to which you're conducting your study proper is sample. There are three terms given here: target population, study population, and the sample population. Target population is the whole population to which obviously you are going to extrapolate your study findings. Doing a research is not only for finding answers and finding solutions. Implementing those solutions for the betterment of the community is what the ultimate goal of every research. So every research finding, you are going to extrapolate it to the whole population. So that whole population is the target population. Of course, it is not possible to study the whole population for every studies. We have limitations of our own. So within the target population, the population that is accessible is called a study population, and within the study population, the persons to which are the study samples to which you collect your research details is called a sample. So this picture gives you what is the target population, study population. Who do you want to generalize to is your target population or theoretical population, and the population who you get access to is going to be your study population. And the list of population that you have is a sampling frame, and who are you going to include in your study is going to be your sample. Inclusion and exclusion criteria has also to be specified within the study population. Whom are you going to include and whom are you going to exclude? Is there any specific criteria? You have to mention it under inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. Usually they used to say that consent is a mandate process for every research participant to be included in a study. If the participant is refusing consent, he cannot be forced or he cannot be included within our study. So those participants who deny consent should be excluded ideally. So similarly, is there any clinical scenarios or any clinical conditions that demands exclusion from the study has to be given under exclusion criteria. And if you have any specifics to include, you have to specify it under inclusion criteria. Can you study all the individuals in a population? Say if I want to study the hand washing practices and diarrheal episode among school children, is it possible to study all the school children of the state of Tamil Nadu?
No, sir, we can't.
No. Then how many should be studied? Just for an example, there are 1 lakh school children of grade 5 to 8 in the state of Tamil Nadu. As you said, we cannot study all the 1 lakh individuals, 1 lakh school students. How many should we study to arrive at a meaningful result? How many should be studied to arrive a meaningful result?
For that, we need to do the sample size calculation.
Exactly. Exactly. The sample size. So we have to estimate sample size. We have to arrive at a particular number with which we can proceed with our study and arrive at meaningful result, which we can extrapolate to the target population. So to arrive at sample size, we need to consider certain factors. All these things, what I have shown here: statistical power, type 1 error and type 2 error. As this sample size calculation is out of scope of this session, I'm just limiting myself to the factors to which to be considered while estimating sample size. It is the goals and objectives, precision level, confidence level, the variability within the population, response rate that can be estimated, and the focus or the ultimate objective of our survey. All these factors are to be considered while estimating sample size. The purpose of estimating sample size is to get both accuracy and precision. Neither of these things to be compromised. So to get a precise and accurate result, as it is in the right top corner, the picture at the right top corner, precise and accurate. To ensure our results are precise and accurate, and to extrapolate our study findings to the target population, we have to arrive at a particular number, which is arrived by means of statistical measures with which we can proceed our study, so that our study findings can be extrapolated to the target population. The other thing is sampling procedure. Sampling is nothing but making observations on the sample instead of whole population. How are we going to select our samples? In the previous example, I said among 1 lakh of school students of 5th to 8th grade, if I want to study association between hand washing practices and diarrheal episodes, I cannot study all the 1 lakh students. By means of statistical measures, I have arrived at a number as 1,000. Let's take it as 1,000. Among 1 lakh students, how can I choose those 1,000? That is based on the sampling technique. Sampling basically reduces time and cost and manpower requirement. It can be done with under proper supervision. If the logistics are correct enough, our results, as I said earlier, it can be extrapolated for our target population, which is what our ultimate aim is, aim of doing a research. So from the population, drawing a sample by means of appropriate sampling techniques, and reversing the findings and applying the findings and inference to the whole population from which the sample belongs to. So sampling ensures representativeness of the whole population, unbiased selection, and adequacy of sample size. Instead of studying the whole population, picking a particular sample size and selecting those sample by proper sampling technique ensures all these things: representativeness, unbiased selection, and adequacy of the sample size. And there are two types of sampling techniques: probability and non-probability. Within all the probability sampling techniques ensures that every individual within the study population is at an equal chance to be picked up as a sample. Whereas in non-probability sampling, not all the individuals are at equal chance of getting represented as a sample. So representativeness is completely ensured in probability sampling techniques so that the results can be generalized. Whereas the non-probability sampling, as it is not representative, the results cannot be generalized. And these are all the common sampling techniques. The probability sampling methods are simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling. The non-probability methods are convenient sampling, quota sampling, purposive sampling, snowball sampling. A short just about the sampling techniques here. Simple random sampling is nothing but choosing samples on a random lottery method, so that every participant within the population is at an equal chance to be picked up. The systematic sample goes by the same way. Every nth individual will be selected and recruited for the study. The stratified sample means stratifying group wise, either by means of gender or by means of age group or any other means, and selecting from each stratified groups proportionally. And the other technique is cluster sampling, where geographic boundaries can be marked as clusters, and within clusters, all the samples can be included. So any large scale study, any studies involving large scale uses cluster sampling. So it depending upon our research objective, depending upon our technique, we can employ any of these probability sampling techniques. And the non-probability sampling techniques are convenient sampling, where the investigator will choose the research study participants at their convenience. And the purposive sampling, by some purposefully selecting study participants either by means of accessibility or by means of any other aspect, any other factors favoring the participation of the participant. The snowball sampling is nothing but recruiting a few study participants and asking study participants to refer the further participants. And the quota sampling is something similar to stratified sampling, but with predetermined proportion from each samples. So all these techniques, convenience, purpose use, snowball, and quota sampling, are non-probability sampling, which ensures no equal representation from all the participants. Hence, it seems to be biased. Hence, it is believed to be biased. So, as I said, our ultimate aim in doing a research is to extrapolate our study findings to the general population. So when we employ non-probability sampling technique, inference of the study findings is limited to the study samples alone. Whereas if we employ probability sampling techniques, the results and the findings can be extrapolated and the inference can be applied to the whole population from which the sample is being drawn. So this is just of your sampling technique and study population. Whom do you want to your result generalized to? That is going to be your target population. Whom will be infer the results with? That is going to be a study population. Whom will you select as your study participant? That is going to be your sample. How will you select samples from the study population? By means of sampling technique. And how many samples are you going to require? Statistical arrival of sample size. So these things has to be mentioned in your protocol and the methodology section. So as of now, we have covered things about study design, study setting, study duration, study population, sample size, and sampling procedure. After which, data collection. You have to frame your data collection tools. Either it can be in the form of questionnaire, or it can be in the form of abstraction form. It can be an interview form of guide, or it can be even digital. I guess you have a separate session on data collection tools. So I'm not going to touch further about much about data collection tools. Within the methodology section, you also need to mention about operational definition, analysis plan, and ethical consideration. Operational definition is nothing but in your study, what are you going to refer things? For example, if you're mentioning it as hand washing with soap, you have to mention it as, you have to define your what is hand washing with soap according to you. What kind of soap it is, how many minutes of hand washing it is. You have to specify details about your exposure and outcome factor. In the examples we have discussed, one example is about brisk walking among pre-hypertension individuals. So you have to define what is brisk walking. Brisk walking means walking for how many minutes, or how much distance. So you have to specify explanation about the exposure factor and the outcome factor within your study. If you are using standard definitions, you need not mention it. If you are using any customized definitions, you have to have a go about those exposure and outcome factors under the section operational definition. And then next comes the analysis plan. Analysis plan, after collecting your data, you have to proceed with analysis, and data analysis plan will have multiple steps, starting from data cleaning, data analysis, data interpretation, data visualization. Again, I believe you have another session on tools for data analysis. So for completion's sake, I'm taking you through all these steps. And finally, ethical considerations. Guess class on ethics for you is over. Session on ethics for you is over. Anyway, within ethical consideration, you have to state whether this research proposal is being applied, cleared, or approved by any institutional review boards, institutional ethic committees. You should also mention about mention a word about the informed consent or assent. Consent. The difference between consent and assent is that any legally bound individuals for more than 18 years can give assent. Sorry, can give consent. Those who are legally not bound, less than 18 years, are mentally unstable. Those who cannot, or who are in a state of not giving a legally bound consent, we can get assent from their guardian. For children, especially, assent has to be obtained. So you have the protocol should also have ethical considerations like addressing the privacy and confidentiality of the study participants, personal identifiers of the study participants, and their personal data. And you also have to mention about how are you going to manage the data. All the data management steps, you have to ensure the data privacy. You have to mention about all these things under ethical consideration section in a proposal. So basically, these are going to be the elements of a research proposal or research protocol. As I said, these 6 questions, if you answer it in a proper way, that becomes your research protocol. What is going to be your study title, and why is going to be your objective? How is going to be your methodology and study design? When is going to be a study duration? What is going to be a study setting? Who is going to be a study population? Within methodology section, whatever we discussed, that has to be sample size, sampling techniques, ethical considerations, all those things should have a place for it. So basically, research protocol is a composite document that encompasses your study title, introduction, where you give background and justification about your research title. You have to justify the novelty and the need for that particular research in the current era. That will come under the section as background, justification, or introduction, followed by your objectives and your methodology. What is going to be your expected outcome or benefit? Your proposal should also give a short narration about what is going to be the expected outcome or benefit, whether it is going to benefit the community and in what way. So your proposal should also include these aspects. And finally, the references. So these are all the basic elements that every research proposal should address. As I said, before framing a research proposal, it is wise and it is mandate to know things about research methodology. That's why I have taken some time to take you through some important aspects of research methodology. I know that it is quite hard to grasp all those things in a shorter time. Every point, every aspect of methodology I have described: the study designs, sample size, sampling techniques, all these things, statistical analysis, all these things per se requires separate session, I feel. So concising it within the session on research protocol, I tried my best to concise it in such a way that I can take you side by side the methodology and the elements of protocol. It is okay. Anyway, I'm open for feedback and comments at the last. So let me complete the last part, the references. So the facts you use in your study, the data collection tools you use in the study, and all the information that you gather from the other previously published literature sources has to be acknowledged in a proper way. All those acknowledgement, the work of others has to be acknowledged. All those acknowledgement comes under reference section. For example, if I'm using a fact that is being published by someone else, I have to give the due credit to that publisher. So within my reference section, I will include all the sources for my documents, for all the sources that I have utilized within my research proposal. So referencing is itself is a style. we have multiple referencing styles. So I will take you to those referencing style too. So this picture clearly says if your protocol is being properly framed, it will give you a proper shape, and it will take you to the second half of your research. It will have a productive value. An unstructured protocol, a protocol that is not framed in a proper way, a protocol that is not addressing all those aspects whatever we have discussed till now, it will never fetch you a productive research outcome. So these are the common referencing styles: APA, MLA, and Chicago, Vancouver, Harvard, AMA. There are many other styles too. These are the common styles commonly used by published literatures and journals. I will just take you to two styles, referencing styles: APA style, American Psychological Association style, and Vancouver style, which is most commonly used here. Within Vancouver, this is the order of reference, mentioning the author, the source from which you have derived information, title of that article, abbreviated journal title, year of the journal publication, volume, issue, and page numbers. This is a Vancouver format. And when it comes to APA style, it is just similar to it, only with reference to certain changes here. This could be quite hard for you people to follow. And let me put you a question here. Is it an easy task for putting references of journal articles in a specified format? Every time remembering the order of items that has to be in a Vancouver format or in an APA style, is that quite easy?
No, sir, I don't think
No,
so.
sir.
Obviously it is not quite easy to remember all the authors, type of title of the article, and which journal we have taken that article from, and in which year and which volume that article has been published. But in a research proposal, while citing references, it has to be in a standard format, either in the Vancouver format or in APA style or any other styles I have listed earlier. So to make it easy, we have certain tools. Okay, here is an example for a Vancouver style journal article. Just look at the format given above and the article cited in that particular format below. Authors are listed first: Tesfaye, Bolton, Dick, Freeman, Horowitz, all authors. And the title of the article is Diabetic Neuropathies: Update and Definition, Diagnostic Criteria, Estimation of Severity, and Treatments. An abbreviated journal title is Diabetes Care, and the year of publication is 2010. Volume is 33, and the issue is 10, and the page number is between 2285 to 2293. So this is how the format for citing goes by. As I said, it is quite tough for remembering the order of reference in each format. And this is the another example for APA style. Anyway, it is quite tough for us to remember these sequences. So here comes the tools that is going to make things easy for us in making referencing and citing in an appropriate and standard format. As I was asked to give you a short note about the MS Word and Zotero, I'm limiting myself to Zotero and MS here. I would rather call this as referencing tool rather than writing tools. The session was named as proposal writing and writing tools, and I would rather call it as referencing tools. Let's go with the most commonly available tool first, MS Word. MS Word is the most common MS file that most of us would have used. Here, with reference to citing references, I will limit my session only to the explaining how to cite references within MS Word. Apart from the other utilities, I am restricting myself to just citing references. Here within the word ribbon above, we have one section called references. Can you able to follow?
Yes, sir. We could follow.
Yeah. Within references, we have few icons here. Insert endnote, footnote, insert citation, manage sources, style, bibliography. If you have a Word document by your side, you just can follow it up, or else you just see the screen here, and later you can do it in your system. So these are all the factors that we are going to have a short note here: endnote, footnote, and bibliography. Here there is a term, there is a icon style, within which APA, Chicago, Ghost, IEEE, MLA. We have multiple referencing styles. I have shown you a few styles earlier, right? Harvard style, Chicago style, APA style, MLA style. All those, few of those styles are inbuiltly constructed here within this MS Word file. So let's select APA here. As of now, let's keep it with the APA here. So for example, I am getting a statement from, let me go to my browser. Let's go to search engine PubMed, where it is a library of medicine. Let's search deficient anemia in India. I'm just searching random search anemia in India. I'm getting articles here. I'm getting as much articles here. I'm just opening one article here. So I'm taking a statement from this article that anemia is a major health concern in India, ranking second in maternal mortality and exhibits a higher prevalence compared to other developing nations. I'm taking this point. Just for sake, I'm working on a protocol on anemia, and I'm taking this point here to justify that anemia has ranked second in maternal mortality in India. I have to duly give the credit to the one to whom from whom I have taken this fact. If I give endnote, insert endnote here, have you noticed that there is a demarcation line here followed by an icon here which gives roll number 1. Even I can change it the number format, numerical format. It can be 1, 2, 3. Can I able to see? Here I
Yes,
have
sir.
got a numerical value as 1, and within the same page I have got a demarcation line below which I have got a letter 1. I can either copy the URL here and paste it here, so that the source, the point number 1 is being taken reference from this article, or I can even copy down the article and the along with the authors to cite the reference number 1. Are you able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
This is one way of giving you endnote references. Endnote is nothing but it is made available at the end of each page. Footnote is nothing but it is footnote is the one that is being available at the end of each page, and endnote is one available at the end of all the sections. So it is up to our choice whether to use endnote or footnote. Both are of same concept.
But
So if
sir,
we go for
according to you, what do you
citation,
think would be better, endnote or a footnote?
yeah, it is our choice. When we for any study proposal kind, it will be better to have footnotes. Okay. And let me take you through the other things too, and I will let you know which one is the easiest task to do. I am here doing things manually here. When it comes to MS Word, we have to do things manually to add the references. We do have other options to do things automatically, which I will take you through in the next 5 minutes. So, coming out to the next insert citation, let's go to the one. Let's go to some other articles. Just imagine I am taking this point from this study and I'm quoting here. So I have to give due credit to that particular author, that particular study. So I have to go to manage sources here. Within the references ribbon, I have an icon called manage sources, where if I click the manage sources, a window is opening where you can add the list. There shows the type of source, whether it is a book or a book section or a journal article. What we have referred is a journal article. So I'm choosing the journal article, and the next column is about author. So I will just copy down the name of the authors here and pasting it here. And the next is about title. So let me copy the title here. Title. It goes by what is the journal name, what is the year and pages. You have to copy down things from it is published in the Indian Journal of Public Health 2022 July September edition. So we have to paste all those things within the slots given here. And if we enter things, we will have a master list here. So we can add up as many articles possible. So the added articles will come under. If you click insert citation, I just added one article and the one article is being listed here. If I click here, look, it has been referenced. It has cited the author name and the number. If we insert bibliography is nothing but the list of references. So it has enlisted the article that I cited here. So if I keep on adding points and keep on adding the keep adding the articles within the managed sources, we can get it enlisted under the section bibliography. So all these things are quite manual, right? So doing things, referencing and citing things in MS Word is quite a cumbersome process. So we have to look at each article. We have to get information from each article and transfer those informations to the MS Word section, and then inserting citation and bibliography is quite a manual thing. So to avoid these things, there comes the savior. We have one tool called Zotero, which is an open source, free to use reference manager. It can basically function as a library. It can store all the articles you review. It can cite, in the sense it can collect, it can organize, it can cite, and it can be a reference managing tool. So let me take you to the Zotero. So before installing Zotero, you have to make sure that you install three aspects. One, Zotero application within your desktop. You can download it from Google. And the second part is extension for Chrome. Within the extensions, I should install the Zotero connector in extension 2. This is the second thing that I have to install. And the third thing is Word plugin. Look here, I have installed the Zotero plugin to my Word, MS Word. So while to work on Zotero, we have to ensure three things. One, Zotero on our working system, Zotero on our as a Chrome extensor, and Zotero plugin to our Word document. If you have completed all these three things, it will be quite easy for to proceed further. Anyway, I will just take you now to how to use on Zotero. You can try it later. So while trying, make sure that you complete all these three things: Zotero download, Zotero extension for Chrome, and Zotero plugin. All these things are just like an app installation that you can do without any assistance. So as of now, I'm closing this Word document. I'm opening a new one. As I've already installed my Zotero application and Zotero extension for Chrome and plugin in Word, it will show Zotero in the Word ribbon here at the top. So I'm working on the same two files, two articles which we referenced earlier in the MS Word manually. So let me do it in the Zotero now. For example, I'm taking up this statement from this article. So this point has to be given due credit to the authors of this article. So if the Zotero extension is being installed, let me open the Zotero app first. So this is the Zotero application where I have worked on a few files, which I have named it according to the study which to which I have worked on, and I have collected the articles related to that particular study here. So whatever articles I have referred, I have surfed through, I have read through with respect to that particular topic is being collected here. As I said, Zotero is a can function as an organizing tool or collection tool and referencing tool too. It can function as an online library for you. So let me create a folder now. I'm naming it as Araichi just for this session purpose. So whatever articles I surf in now, and I can add it to. So I've read through this document. I'm in a view to take certain points from this article, and I have to give the due credit to these authors. So I'm taking this point here. So already I've pasted here. So when I go to Chrome extension, there is a Zotero connector enlisted here. So if I click on the Zotero connector, I will get to know, I will have all the topics here. Now, as I'm working on the project RIG here, I'll save this article in the folder RIG. The moment I saved here from the Chrome window, Zotero will enlist that article here. I can read through this article at any point of time again. And in this article, it enlists all the information that what we have collected manually while we entering reference citation in Word. The author name, the publication, the title, all those things. So after taking the point concerned, placing the cursor at the point where I have to place my citation, if I click on to add citation, it will ask for the styles. We have multiple styles of references as I've listed here earlier. American Medical Association, American Political Science Association, APA style, ASA style, Chicago. Let me go with Vancouver style here. So I'm selecting Vancouver. It is asking for article to cite. I'll go with the article we have selected now. So it has given a number as 1. Similarly, let's go with the other article. Now I'm taking some other point from this article. If I want to cite this, I have to do it again. I have to do the same thing again. Going to Chrome extension, adding it to Zotero connector. So it is getting added, saving to the folder AARAICHI. So I'm going to insert citation or add citation again. I'm adding the second article. So it gives the number 2. So we can go on adding the articles to which we can add citations. So we need a bibliography at the end, right? So keeping the cursor at the end of our proposal, and if you click on the add or edit bibliography, it will get enlisted here. The article number 1, the article number 2 in the Vancouver format. So that uniformity can be ensured. All we need to do is just to add on the extension here in the Chrome, so that whatever articles we surf, whatever articles we read through, we can add it to our Zotero personal library, from which we can extrapolate to our reference citations. It will be quite easy for us to do things. So if you ask me which is easy here, I will go with Zotero. Mendeley is also one other application just similar to Zotero. You have to download the Mendeley application extension for Chrome and plugin for the window document. But it is quite a prime version, which requires some kind of payment for premium articles. But Zotero is quite free and open source. So it is. If you ask me which one to go for among these 3 referencing tools, which are the most commonly used things, I will go with Zotero, as it automates things. It doesn't require it doesn't require the investigator to collect all the details. It collects all the basic details from the journal articles you surf through and you refer through. Only thing you have to do is that you have to add it to the Zotero library whenever you read through an article. So these are the basic referencing tools. The usage of Zotero is quite simple, just like using your smartphones and mobile applications, mobile application installations. So you can install it on your phone and you can give a try, and let me know if you have any doubts. Even after this session, no issues. I can give you some clarity over the usage of Zotero. So this is the basic referencing tools and protocol. What are the components of a protocol? As I have almost, it took me 1.5 hours. My session was planned to span around 1.5 hours. But as I included research methodology as a component within explaining the protocol, as I feel that without taking you through the research methodology, getting on to the elements of research proposal is quite clumsy. So I tried my best to include as much things as much possible about research methodology while framing the elements of research protocol. I don't know how effective it is and how receivable it is. Anyway, I'm open up. I'm ready to take up questions if any.
If you have any doubts, you can get it cleared by having an interaction with us. So personally, I'm having a doubt, sir. So while writing the manuscript, you know, I will be having almost 30 to 40 articles as a reference. Shall we for that? I need to open that articles in the Zotero. Firstly, I'll just browse through the PubMed and all. Then I'll be adding those things to the PubMed. Zotero library. So while I'm putting those articles as a reference, so for example, I'm quoting after a sentence, So how could I point it out? This certain words came exactly from that article, because I used to write those authors' name in a separate sheet, and while putting those references using Zotero, I will just type those authors' name, and those file will come, and I will put those references. Is there any other way to use Zotero much efficiently?
Yes, doctor, I couldn't actually understand your question. Anyway,
Yeah.
to my understanding, if your question is about adding articles to Zotero, not all the authors have been reflected there.
Okay. My question is, sir, while adding those references, we'll be first adding those articles. For example, 30 articles I'll be selected from the PubMed to the Zotero library, sir.
Okay.
Then after I'll be adding those references to my article at the at end. Like after finishing the manuscript completely, I have to give those references, or
Yeah, okay, okay. I can get your question now. The ideal way to do thing is that wherever you add a point from a article source, you have to add the reference then and there.
okay.
After completing the whole article, it will be quite tough which article is the source for which point you have added in your manuscript.
Yes, sir.
That is why Zotero has one other advantage. Let me give you a demo here. For example, I have given 2 points here. I have taken 2 points here, and I have given two references here. Once the protocol is ready, when the proposal is ready, I am of a view to change the first point to the second thing. I am changing the order here.
Okay.
I am changing the order here. Okay, if I change the order here, the number will automatically change. If I just refresh here, just look at it has changed to 2.
Yes, sir.
That will be the concern of every proposal writers. If they change the order, whether it is getting changed automatically or not. That is possible only when if you cite the references then and there. If I'm taking
Yes, sir.
1 point here to my proposal, I have to cite a reference at the same point. I don't mind about the number. I am just concerned about that particular point has been taken from which article and which author. I will just go on adding points, and I just go on adding references then and there, so that at the end of my proposal, I will be having some 30 references enlisted at the bottom, and at the same time, those 30 references will have in-text citations too.
Yes, sir.
Even if I work on rearranging the points in an order, if I just refresh click, the orders will get rearranged on its own.
Okay.
That is why I say Zotero is a good servant to us.
Yes, sir.
It collects, organizes, and cites on its own. All we need to do is just to add those to our Zotero library. As you said,
Yes,
it is quite tough for you to pick up appropriate references for all the points that you have gathered at the end of your proposal writing. You have to do it on then and there.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Anything? Anyone? Any queries you have? So I guess that's all, sir. So thank you so much for being there and giving the holistic like overview of this methodology, as well as how to write a protocol, and giving how to do a proper Zotero citations and clearing our doubts, sir. And thank you so much, sir. Let's shall we move to vote of thanks, sir?
Yeah, if
Lakshmi,
there are no other questions,
I
we
guess
can.
so, sir.
Anyway,
Lakshmi,
thanks for the opportunity, and I'm glad to address this cohort of young and energetic listeners. Thank you, and
yes, sir.
we'll be much more happy if you have any more questions. Yes, I agree that 1.5 hours on research methodology clubbed with protocol framing is quite a dry session. Although I believe that uh, I have added as much things as possible with respect to methodology and with respect to the elements of protocol. Anyway, thanks
Yes,
for the
sir.
opportunity and thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
learning.
Thank you, sir. Over to Lakshmi.
Yes, sir. Respected dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, members of the organizing committee, and my dear fellow participants. On behalf of the organizing team of AARAICHI'25, it is indeed a privilege and honor to deliver the vote of thanks for today's enlightening session. At the outset, I would like to express our profound gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Dr. K.N. Puniyan Selvan, Assistant Professor, Department of Community Medicine, Government Dharmapuri Medical College. Your insightful deliberation on crafting clarity, precision, and impact, proposal writing, and writing tools has provided us not just with knowledge, but with practical direction and confidence to strengthen our research and proposal writing skills. Our heartfelt thanks goes to our organizing secretary, our state leaders, and our IMA-MSN coordinator, Dr. Jamuna ma'am, for their vision, constant encouragement, and unwavering support, which were the driving forces behind the success of this program. A special appreciation is due to the organizing committee whose diligence, meticulous planning, and commitment ensured that every detail of this event was executed seamlessly. I also extend sincere thanks to all the participants. Your enthusiasm, attentive engagement, and active contribution infused this session with energy and meaning. And a heartwarm thanks to the HOD of Community Medicine of Government Dharmapuri Medical College, and all the professors of Community Medicine of the same college. Finally, I am deeply grateful to each one of you for your gracious presence today. We eagerly look forward to your continued support and participation in the upcoming editions of RIG. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.